All right, so we are live on IG. Now I'm going to IG, punch up IG.
You tagged me, didn't you?
On IG. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
How
You
you
can
do
tag
that?
me later. I just get a link from YouTube and just play it back on my page. It's all good. Because I think most people are
Okay.
engrossed in the game.
I forgot about it. It starts at 9?
Huh? It's okay because that's the benefit of it being recorded. People can watch at their leisure.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Gotta love it. All right, go ahead and I got you on IG live. I'm up on live. If you punch up, you see me, go ahead and punch in over on live.
Okay.
We're not we're not on Facebook yet. Okay, there we go.
I turn the
Believe
sound down so it
okay.
wouldn't be any type of reverberation.
Okay, it won't let me pull you up. It won't let me get you to join on go out and go back in on live, Nicole. What's up, Facebook
So I'm gonna let
fam?
you.
Uh, we're trying to get situated over here in technology land. Brother McAllister, what's happening, sir? Joe Set, hey Joe. I heard you doing big things over there. Happy birthday coming up to you. We'll make this work. Try to get it popping over here. I'm gonna put Nicole out. All right. We're working on some things over here. We're trying to get it live on the IG. We'll go ahead and get it started tonight. Welcome to Off the Bench Live. This is our spotlight edition where we feature people in the magazine who are doing things in the magazine. They're contributing writers or they're authors inside the magazine. So we want to bring them onto the show, give them another platform to talk about their messaging, talk about their product, talk about whatever's going on with them they want to share with us. So that being said, we'll make sure that everyone has subscribe to the magazine. Make sure you, if you're on Instagram right now watching this, go to the link in the bio and click on subscribe. You can see that there. There's also the May issue, which is the free motivational issue that you can see. The July issue is up as well. And some podcasts are listed on the link so you can listen to some past shows that I've done, guests that we've had on. It's a great platform out there. Definitely have some great things coming up down the road. We were doing a couple different types of shows. We have our spotlight, then we have our lifestyle show where we bring in people who are fitness trainers, the business people. They have discussion. Got stylists coming on, all kind of different things there. Then we're gonna add hot topics. We get on and talk about what's smoking right now. What's hot? Like we'd be talking track right now. We would be talking about track and is it right that the whole girl didn't get to run? Bless her whole heart. Did they do the right thing? And why can't we continue to do the right thing? That kind of discussion. The fourth Wednesdays of each month, we're going to be having King Conversations. That is the conversation where men are on talking about what men talk about when you ain't around. So we definitely had the first show in the end of June. Oof. And it was a good show there. So you can check that out. Everything's on YouTube as well. OTB live on YouTube. You can find on those situations. So that being the case, I don't wait. Nicole, I don't see you on here. Nicole Decandas view. I can't see if I can get you on here. Invite. There it is. I'm trying to get her up on IG at the same time. There she is. Okay, now I'm gonna add you to the stream over here. Doing the most at this point. Doing the most. All right, here we go. Nicole, how are you?
I am well. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm look. I'm trying to make it over here. Trying to do the most with these buttons. Um, it's too much over here. I can't get the volume down. All right, there you go. Okay, we got you going over there. I'm not over here. This is doing the most. All right. I'm getting reverb somewhere.
You say you're getting reverb?
I am.
Okay. What probably needs to happen is we probably need to turn off the sound somewhere else. Let me see.
I'm off. It might be
here. Is it better here? You still hearing it?
You got headphones on your side?
Yes, I turned off the sound on my computer, and I just have it on my phone. But you're still hearing the reverb?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on one second, if you don't mind. Let me see if I can get my headset, and then maybe you may not hear it on the phone, and you may not get that. Hold on a second. Technology, gotta love it. We're gonna get together, people. Be patient.
Yeah, technology was happening. All right, so let's see what's over here. I don't know why I'm still hearing reverb on this side. All right. Anyway, we're trying to make things go. Whatever. What's up, Noop? I see you out there. Everybody on Capital doing their thing. Anyways, let's talk about what's been going on in my life. So as you know, just recently my son started medical school, so that was like a highlight for the whole family, and he is doing his thing there. And his first weekend, I think he's okay. He hadn't called, needing anything, but it is what it is, and he will call when he needs something. So we will check in on him later on. All right, Nicole, you back? How you sounding?
Better?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I got you right there.
So you don't hear any reverb. I think just having my headset in may help. Is that okay? Okay.
Yes. All right, cool. So anyways, let's get back to what we were talking about. You are up. Nicole Decandas is one of our featured people in our magazine. She is the author of a book called I Affirm Today. So as you all know, I don't do bios. I don't try to get into them because I usually mess stuff up. So Nicole, why don't you go ahead and share with us who you are, what you do.
Hello? You cut out on StreamYard.
All right, you back? Can you hear me? Yeah, technology is tripping tonight. Hello? Okay, go ahead and share everybody what you're talking about. What's going on?
Okay, well, just like Mark introduced me, I'm Nicole Decandas, and I am an author, and I'm also a self-care coach. And what that means is that I help you take a goal that you may have and start it off and do the steps in order for you to be able to see it, come to fruition. So that's my whole task. And we kind of approach it mind, body, and soul. So just to show you what my book looks like, this is the cover. And you can find it on Amazon. On Amazon, it's $12, for the paperback, and it's also available in ebook. And if you live in the 757, which is the Hampton Roads area here in Virginia, you can also purchase copies at Lemon Seed Designs, which is a jewelry store that is in MacArthur Mall. And you can also, contact me. And if you happen to be in the area, you wear your mask, I don't mind actually giving you a copy that's signed that comes out of my collection. So that's basically about the book. But to kind of get into why I wrote it, we all go through, phases in our lives where we feel stuck. We feel like we're in, kind of like a dead place. We're not quite sure what direction to go in. We've kind of done the same thing for so long, and we kind of need some new direction. And I was feeling that way. And I came up with a process. I was in Panera here in Norfolk and just started writing out some things that I thought would help me get myself out of that space, that mental, emotional, psychological, spiritual place. And when I wrote my ideas down, I shared it with a good friend named Monterey, and I actually mentioned her in the book. And she said, Nicole, I think that those ideas could help other people. And I'm thinking, because sometimes when things are given to you, it's like really just for you. It's kind of hard to articulate to somebody else to get them to understand what's in your head because like it's a you thing. But as I began to write it
Mhm.
and I had other people to read and I began to share, I realized that, hey, I guess it does work for other people. So that's how I ended up, moving, from just it being about me to me writing the book so it can be about other people in order to help and assist them. So it's kind of like my go-to, workbook when it comes to working with my clients.
That's a lot. I love it. Yeah,
Right? Can you
you've
hear
been
me?
in the.
I
I'm
can't
here.
hear
Can
you
you
though.
hear me? Hello. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Hello.
Unfortunately, I can't hear you on either platform.
Yeah, I turned off IG. It was tripping over there. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna fight through all of this. We're gonna keep pressing. So
Okay.
you can hear me now, correct?
Yeah. So what was
Yeah.
happening
So
with
when you
IG?
it was just stalling out, and then I was still getting echo over here, and I couldn't get it to be quiet, so I just dropped it. I just dropped it on IG because I was
Okay.
getting feedback into the microphone into my ear, so I want to have all that out there. So anyway, we're gonna keep pressing. You were on early on. You were early adapter to the magazine, and we appreciate you coming and hanging out with us, talking about your book and a lot of things that you were doing with your affirmations and how you came about it, which you just explained. What have you been doing now? Now that we're post pandemic, I think we were still kind of pandemic when we first got on. What are you doing now as far as I affirm today is doing back in coaching? What's working for you now?
Well, what I'm doing now is that I'm really showcasing or highlighting, my fitness journey and trying to teach, and demonstrate how you persevere and you set your goals, and by using exercise as a way to kind of do it. Because I think that when people see results, that when they can see, you change and you morph or whatever, they can kind of connect with, this is how goals are supposed to go. There should be progression. So at
Mhm.
first, I started, working out when the pandemic first happened. And it was a private thing for me. I just, I'm not a binge watcher, television person. And I just needed to get out. And I also knew that I had some health challenges that could present a real issue for me if I were to be infected with COVID. Um, African American, I can't change that, nor would I want to. Female, can't change that, nor would I want to. Um, High blood pressure. Thanks, Dad. That's genetic. So no matter how thin or heavy I am, that just like harped on me and I can't seem to shake that. So I'm working on that. And I was, what you would consider clinically obese, based off that little chart that the doctors like to use. So
Mhm. Mhm.
so what I did was I said, you know what, the one thing I can change is, the obese being heavy part. And what can I do to do that? So, my weight has always fluctuated, throughout my life. That's always been a challenge for me. Um, but this by far is the lightest I've been my adult life and the healthiest I've consistently been my adult life. So a part of it is I started thinking, you know what, people need to kind of be able to understand how if you have a goal, no matter whether it's health related, business related, family related, it's all about achievement and those mile markers to let you know that you're on the right path and having a plan. So I kind of use my, exercise, health journey in order to kind of illustrate that because I think that it's easier for people to see. That's one thing. The other thing that I've done is I've been kind of on hiatus because I was looking at, restructuring my show. I had been health and wellness, holistic mind, body, and soul for a while. Not saying that I'm getting away from that, because
Mhm.
that's a part of who I am and the message that I have, or my calling I feel when it comes to coaching. But I also felt that I need to kind of broaden my message and be able to kind of highlight some of the businesses that are in the area. And maybe if I get big enough, of course, in other regions or whatever. But we have some real gems here, in the Hampton Roads area that I think that with the pandemic happening, And just by people just not knowing, because of how advertisements go or word of mouth, just kind of highlighting those. So I kind of started moving into that direction, but still having that core of, doing the wellness. And, and then just like to mention the whole life coaching, because once again, people like to see results. So when they see that you are dogmatic about what it is that you're doing, you're very serious, you're very goal oriented, they're going to believe that you can coach them to be the same way too. So just being able to have clients that can see what it is that I'm doing and say, well, you know what, I think I can, utilize Nicole in order to do that, in order to do what it is I need to do in order to be successful, whether it is weight loss or a business goal or, just something personal, that, you kind of want to grow in or out of. But, I'm different from a therapist. So if you need deep therapy because you're traumatized, that's not where I am. But there's certain things I can help you with, in reference to, getting you from point A to point B.
That's what's up. I appreciate the fact that you are modeling the behavior that you are trying to coach people through. And you are absolutely right. People are drawn to how we live our life, and the ups, the downs, the I don't want to do it today's, and I'm not affirming nothing today. I'm gonna affirm I'm gonna stay in this bed today. Today I choose violence. I'm gonna sit down somewhere and do it.
Right?
They need to come through. They need to see you go through that, and then how do you come through it? I coach my clients and telling their stories. I said, everybody wants to know, how did you get over? That's the sauce. We want to know. Yeah, got you. But what did you do, right? So when you're walking through your health and wellness and weight loss journey, I want to know what you do. Now I follow you on the IG. I don't, like I told you earlier, I don't think you ever go home. I think you stay at the Y over there off of whatever street that is, because that's where every post comes
Granby. From. Yeah, I'm telling you, they get a whole lot of free advertisement. If they do not have a bump in enrollment, I don't know what to say, because I plug them every single day.
Every single day. Then I'm questioning, are you like working there? Are you opening? Because there's nobody there with you, but it's all good. But that's going to encourage somebody, and we never know who's watching and why they're watching or when they watch us, right? So they catch us in a moment. Right. I'm not going to go walk today. There she go again at that doggone why. I guess I better. And so all of a sudden now they're changing behaviors based on us not being, we're trying to be consistent. We got that. But we're definitely trying to be better than we were yesterday. So that keeps us moving. So that's definitely huge when you're talking about creating and developing positive thoughts and changing behaviors, yes. And changing thoughts. So especially with the affirmation, because you and I both know that we are the worst critics for ourselves and to ourselves. We are horrible. I am anyway.
Yes.
And to try to counter that and to be more positive about myself. Well, Mark, you're so positive. I said, well, you should come around when ain't nobody around. It's not always pretty, but
yeah, it's work, and that's the whole thing. One thing that we're kind of like, I would say we're going full circle. With social media and the whole reality TV type of phenomenon that's gone on. We all know that a lot of that stuff is created. It's right. Just like wrestling. And I hate to say that because I'm a Ric Flair fan and I've met him twice.
Whoa,
so it's
baby.
So it's like, I hate to kind of, but we all know there's some theatrics when it comes to, the WWE, that type of thing. And what people are now getting into, and I don't know if you've noticed it, Mark, when it comes to your social media persona, people want to know who you are. It's just not enough to see you on the cover of your magazine. And when I tell you, your covers are stunning. It's like, when I see them, I'm like, you know what? I need to grind. I need to shine. I need to make this money. I need to make these moves. I'm like, where Mark? I was like, it's like your imaging is like crazy. Your branding is crazy. But, that, we can all get all excited about that. But at the end of the day, people want to know what makes Mark tick without you giving too much of yourself away. You understand what I'm saying? Some things should just be for you, because once we're not super famous yet, but once you start getting on social media and people see you more or whatever, you have to kind of give them a part of yourself that lets them know they can do it. But there's still some things about yourself that still remain private and just for you. But people want to know, like you said, they want to know the nuts and bolts. It's not enough to see that, you're working out, or to see that, you show a check. Because sometimes I see people, they'll show a check of how much money they made off of a client, or show a check of how much they made for sale or something. But they don't tell you the work that went in order to make that possible. So I think that if we're going to be authentic as coaches, because we're not selling anything. We're training people in order to be successful in their own lives. That's the thing. If we're going to be authentic to this work, we have to be as honest and as transparent with people as possible, that every day is not going to be a stellar day. Now, you may start off believing that, and that's the way you want to approach life every day, because every day has brand new mercies. But, as we get in our day, things happen to us that cause us to kind of think, well, maybe I should have stayed in the house and locked the doors and pulled down the shades and turned off the lights. but but we persevere nonetheless. So saying that means that, we want to have strategies and processes in place and be able to say, I've done them, they work for me. If you trust me, because it's all about building trust. If you trust what I'm telling you will work, if you are devoted and dedicated, you have to believe it will work, and you have to work the plan. You will see the level of success that you see in my life, or you may see in my other clients' life, but it's about you doing the work.
It's about you're 100% right, and thank you for the cover comp. Because let's just have the transparency conversation about that. That is not even what I do. They were like, "Oh, Mark, get on the." I was joking, right? I'm gonna be Oprah. I'm gonna be in every cover, blah blah blah. And my EA was like, "Okay, cool." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, hold on." So she's like, "No, we gotta get outfits. We gotta get you here. I'm on top of bridges. I'm in tunnels." I'm like, "What am I doing who am I at this point?" Right? So we have to have a moment, and then I have to go. I got to buy into the hype. I'm coming out and doing something new. I am moving my own self off the bench. These cover shots are really, like you said, they're really more for me, because it's about, not that I don't have the confidence, but in this particular area, being that front and center is not what I've always been. If you put me on a stage, I'm sorry for your stage. I'm sorry for your microphone. I'm going to destroy it. This is what I do. See the confidence. You put me in front of my cover magazine. I don't know. Am I too fat? How's my butt looking? Am I okay? We did that last shot, this last cover, we did almost 700, almost 1,000 shots, I think she said. But I did 1,000 shots. I'm like, I'm tired. It's rough being a diva. I just is like, you know what? Where's the candy? I don't understand. The fans, it was hot outside. People pat me. You know what I'm saying, Nicole? This is what I'm doing. This is my life now. So, but
Mark said he's a whole diva. But yeah, but what it does is that it inspires people to say, I can have that, because that goes back to, I guess, we're going to get further into the whole visualization thing. When I tell you I live on YouTube more so than most people may live on Netflix or whatever, because they have so many nuggets from other great coaches and other motivational speakers. They have these really interesting compilations. And one of them I'll have to share with you when we get offline. I'll probably end up sharing it on my page. There's one where Steve Harvey is interjecting like a few times throughout it, saying, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it with your hands. And when he says that, it resonates with me, because people don't realize the power of imagination. Life has killed that for most of us. When we were little, some of us had imaginary friends. Some of us could visualize our little stuffed animals talking, or we would wonder, I wonder what they do at night. Do they go to sleep? Do they run around the house? I mean, you had all these fantastic ideas, and you had all these ideas of everything you could and you wanted to be. But life sets in. You get adults that have no vision, that have no dreams, that have no goals, that have no love of life, and they tell you all the things you can't. You grow up in a sea of don'ts and stop and no's. So it dulls you out, and then you become an adult, and then you have someone like me or someone like you that says, you can do that. You can be that. You can accomplish that. And they're looking at you like, well, how? When I've been being told no, don't, stop, can't for the last 40 years. that type of thing. So, that's why those images that you project on your covers are important, because even if I can't see it for myself at first, me seeing you do it makes me begin to think, well, shoot, I can be that fly on the bridge. I can be that hype on the tunnel. I, I, I can sit back and smoke a stogie with my aged bourbon at this country club. That can be me. And it
Mhm.
takes you to a whole different place. You're not creating a lie or selling something false. It makes people really begin to take inventory and say, but if Mark can do it, what makes Mark, not saying you're not special, Mark, because you are, what makes Mark
Mhm. Oh.
special? And if it makes Mark special, then what makes Nicole special? Or Deshawn, or
Mhm.
Quincy, or Paul? That imaging, you being able to see it before you can touch it, says
Mhm.
a lot. My whole brand, I visualize my entire brand, everything about Nicole, other than the fact that Nicole Decandas has been established since 1975, that she's a real person. That's my name. Is that made up? So, but me being a public persona is new. Me being that public brand is new, but the brand of who I am as an individual has been in existence since March the 18th,
Right,
1975.
right.
So,
Shouts
so
out, shouts
you
out to
know,
75.
right? I know it's a hype kid. So with when we think about that, how far could you come if you could see what you wanted and then act upon what you saw or what you see?
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's what
Mhm.
it all boils down to. You every day getting up, seeing it, and saying, I'm going to put a plan in place. I'm going to put structures in place, and I'm going to make it happen every day for myself, even if it's one incremental step. I may not be able to do all 5 things I put on my list, but I'm going to do at least one thing
Right,
because I owe
right.
it to myself in a 24-hour period to do at least one thing.
Mhm. I you listen, you dropping bombs at this point. You probably shooting better than the Phoenix Suns at this moment. But anyway, um, when you're talking about and I talk about this a lot too, the negative stuff that we put on ourselves is so heavy. Remember, I told you we're our worst critic, right? I don't need anyone
Yeah,
adding on to my negative stuff. I don't need Ric Flair off the top rope coming because I'm already coming off my own rope, piling on my own stuff.
right?
It's bad. And you have to counter all of that. And the only way you can do it is to change the narrative, change how we speak to ourselves, right? Change
Yes.
our acceptance of the affirmations that were probably negative that we affirm to be positive to positive affirmations. I think I said that right. And
Mhm.
that is what you've been talking about in your book, because it does take a lot of that. And some progress is better than no progress. And some progress equates to a lot of development, a lot of growth. And I think that's part where people get sidetracked and tricked with IG and posts and whatever. Like all of a sudden it's bam, oh my God, you're here. But you didn't see, like you said, how I got here. You weren't here for those lonely nights. It took me forever to become this thing. Chris Mullin said it took me 20 some odd years to become an overnight success. That's what we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. But people want it now, and they don't want the journey. They don't want the grind. They don't want the growth. They don't want the as Coach Perry, Shalise Perry, who's on the line, she's in the magazine as well, talking about, they
Yeah.
don't want the alignment. They don't want to raise their vibration. She's the expert in that area, but I get what she's talking about. And this is what we need to do that change that mindset. I mean, again, on the line, Dr. Delise Coffee, she talks about mindset with athletes, and you know how hard we are on ourselves. So it's
Mm-hmm.
that conversation. But I like what you did in your book about giving exercises to do, because I don't think people actually talk about how to be positive towards ourselves. It was automatic to be negative to yourself because you've heard like you said, the no's and the, oh yeah, that doesn't, oh, I'm bad, I'm horrible. But what about I'm good? I'm dope. This is me. I'm enjoying it. We don't engage enough in that. But I like what your book allows us to learn the process of affirming ourselves so we can become who we want to be.
Well, there's 2 things that kind of happen that, outside of, the training and the program that we've had since we were a child. There is there's a mindset of this whole self-defecating thing that people have gotten into to kind of like laugh at themselves or kind of diminish who they are as people. And it's not good. Words have spirit and life, and there's a lot of power in this one muscle, this tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And when you kind of say, with my fat self, with my bald self, girl, I'm so stupid today. When you put that type of stuff out there, then you don't realize how it comes back to you and it manifests itself. It's
Mm-hmm.
seeds. Words are seeds. So, you have that going on. The other thing that you have going on is that we are taught early on, until it's time for you to interview for a job, that you're not supposed to brag about yourself.
Say that
You're
again.
kind
Say
of
it one more
taught
again. Say it again.
that you're not supposed to brag about yourself, that you're not supposed to have. It's kind of funny, it's not until you're supposed to get a job that, all of a sudden you're supposed to find all this self-esteem from where. Like I said, you've been told no, can't, cannot, don't, stop your entire life. You've been told to tone it down. You're too much. You're too loud. You're too brash. You're too, you're too whatever. And then
Mm-hmm.
when it's time for you to get a job, oh yeah, tell us about yourself, brag a little. And you're sitting there like, how do I do that when I've been told my entire life that that's not okay? If you don't sell you, if you don't believe in you, if you don't prop you up, who will? People treat you the way you treat yourself. And I tell
Mm-hmm.
myself all the time, because they deal with parents, they deal with the community, and some of them deal with personal issues, and they'll bring it to me, and I try to help them out with that because I'm always coaching. Whether they're paying me or not, they're gonna get coached. But that's what I'm here for. It's just in me. But I tell
Right.
them, you have to teach people how to treat you. And that should be a 24-hour class. That class should never have an end date. It should never be summer's off. It should never be we on spring break. It should never be we on Christmas break. You should be constantly teaching people how to treat you by virtue of how you treat yourself. So if you
Yourself.
don't say self-defecating stuff about yourself, no one else is going to think it's okay to come out of pocket and say anything negative about you. If you are confident about yourself and you speak highly about yourself, it's kind of hard for someone to just come around and just, people say slick stuff out of their mouth all the time and you check them on it. But the thing is that they're going to be less comfortable to do it because you put out this persona that I don't tolerate that. So once you put that armor on, this is what I'm not tolerating. This is who I am. This is how you're going to respect me. This is how you're going to treat me. And you check people accordingly. And you can do it with love. You can do it with the love of Tabitha Brown and Jesus Christ or whatever you believe in. You can do it. You can do it on that level. But people still need to be checked. And that's the whole thing. She taught us, and I know I'm probably getting somewhat off a topic. She taught
Go ahead.
us how to check people in love and that it has to happen. You can't
Right.
just let anybody say anything about your husband, your marriage, your children, who you are as a person. And it goes out there. It's just out there in the atmosphere, vibrating on everything. And you not address it. You have to address it. It's not about this is a lot of times people say, well, you need to, and they first lady of mama. If they go low, they go high. I can still go high. I can be high and still check you. I can still do that.
Right.
Going high does not mean you do not get checked. It just means you not get cussed out. That's the only thing
I'm
it
almost choked.
means. I don't call you and your mama out your name. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that you don't get checked or corrected.
That's exactly right. You call it. I watched that. I hollered. And I think I had one of those delayed reflex. I said, oh, she just, you know how we do. It was like, oh my gosh, she just clinked her clock. And it needed to be done. But I think you're right. But in order to get to that level, though, you still have to be confident enough in what you're doing. It still starts internally, right? You've got to take your stance, take your position, and know what you're not going to allow. And people do it all the time. It's the
It,
work. It's
it's
the
the
work.
work. It's the work. And the
Yeah.
sad part about most of us is that, and that's where this is where I pass a baton to counselors and therapists.
Mm.
There's a very fine line where what I do stops and I have to pass a baton to a therapist or a counselor for my people, because
Mhm.
it's that deep-seated trauma. When Wendy was speaking, she was speaking from a
Oh,
very hurt
oh yes.
and
Yes.
traumatic place. And I
Mhm.
watched it,
Mhm.
and I'm not a fan of hers, because I'm not a fan of, the whole gossipy thing. And I just, that's just not something I've ever been really into. I like to inquire in reference to talking about aliens. I always thought that was funny. But when it comes to the gossipy stuff, I'm not really into that. But when I watched her body language, because you're a coach, so you learn how to read people's body language. I was like, this is not a normal situation for her. I honestly believe that she was speaking out of a place of hurt in a very genuine way. And it came off malicious, but when you looked at her body language, she was speaking from her own stance of, this is what happened to me. And it got
Right.
projected on Tabitha Brown and her husband in their marriage. That's the way I look at it. It was almost like, so she caught a ball and she threw it back, that type of thing. And I was like, wow. So when Tabitha came back the way that she did, I said she can do that because she didn't just listen to the words. She listened to the spirit that delivered those words. She looked at the
Mm.
body language and saw that's coming from a very hurt place where you can't see the happiness or what it is that we're doing over here, because what happened to you was just that dark. And that's how it is. And that's why I have to pass it on to a therapist or a counselor for you, because you have to, that's a different level that you have to kind of work through. And I'll tell anybody, you need both, because a therapist isn't going to coach you and a coach is not going to provide therapy. So depending on what you're trying to do and depending on what you've gone through in your life, you need a team of people. And I talk to you about this, Mark, all the time. And, in the respect that we have to have a team. You have to have a financial
Mhm.
team. You have to have a wellness team. You have to have, that wellness team can include your dermatologist, your general prac, your gynecologist, if you have something that's going on with your heart, your neurologist, all this stuff, all these people are part of your medical team. You have to have a team of people that you trust in order to help you through those things. But I think that what we do is we don't create a team around us to support what it is that we're trying to do, and we try to ramshackle it,
Mm.
and get bits and pieces when we really do need whole people and take the time to invest in ourselves enough to get this stuff taken care of. We only get a chance to go around, unless you believe in reincarnation. We only get a chance to do this kind of life one time. You owe it to
Mhm.
yourself to have people in place to help you live the best life that you can, while you can, when you can, how you can. You owe it to yourself. And I know there's some challenges when it comes to finances, and I know there's some challenges when it comes to even resources, and insurances and stuff like that. But I honestly believe that if people really research and they kind of like seek out information, they'll find the help that they need. But we all need that kind of help. But I've taken over your show. I know some questions to ask. I could go. Oh,
The
I love this work. I'm sorry if I come
this
off really
this is good.
passionate.
No.
I love
No, no,
this
no.
work.
No.
So
The, no, the passion is received, and that's why we just go. This is what the platform is for. It's for helping people to get off the bench. And what you said was for someone today, and that's why I was listening, because I probably need to hear a lot of what you said as a reminder. We all do, and you spoke to that, and there's no wrong in that. And I think it's actually that you're more aware of yourself when you know that you low, right? I know when I'm not feeling well. I need space today. My people at my job, they're like, Mark, I need time. I need time. Leave me alone. And I need to get that together myself, because you're not your best. And like you said, I want to go back to, because I really didn't want to talk about the whole Wendy thing, but you hit the nail on the head. I watched as well, and what came to mine was she was triggered, not when she saw it, because she thought it was cute, we're gonna talk about it. But when she went in, she was re-triggered and went, and she did leave that whole stage. She left that whole stage and went back and was dropping. I was waiting for her to break down and cry. Like, she's blaming her. She wasn't blaming Tabitha. She wasn't talking smack about it. It's not normal to hear that. But she wished she could have had that. And she had the exact opposite. And it was raggedy for her. But she was triggered. But she says be professional. She should never drop those bombs on television like that. And she got the fallout. It is what it is. But to your point, that's when the therapist comes in. You're right. People need to be able to go get that help and do what they need to do. But the response was good. She was high, and she dropped nuclear bombs from up top. Stay above the fray and still drop bombs. That's how I feel about it. But
she
getting
did.
that help.
But she
picked up
put
another 2
out a
million followers on
prayer.
that.
Yeah, she put out a prayer for her. And if I was Wendy, I'll be honest with you, I would play back what if she really believes that it was said from a good place. I would definitely play back what Tabitha said and take bits and pieces of it. And I don't know what her faith base is, if she has a faith base, because not everyone does, and I respect, everyone's choice in that. But if she does have a faith base of any kind of belief, I will put that as a part of my practice to pray to, to whatever entity I believe in, for that to come for me, because I believe that came from a very genuine place of help and love, if she was willing to receive it. And that's the whole thing, is that you have to be kind of willing to receive the fact that you were triggered, you are hurt. Ain't no were hurt. I mean, it could have happened. Just because something happened 20 years ago doesn't mean that you still don't have residue from what happened. Because, life and the way we approach it pushes us in a place where we always have these unresolved issues. And that's kind of like what I want to talk about when it comes to the visualization exercise that we're going to practice in a few minutes, is that, when you realize that it's something that keeps on pricking you, hurting you, bothering you, that's when you need to get the help that's necessary for you to get past it. I do not think that it is your life's journey to constantly have an albatross around your neck, to have something on your back that's weighing you down. We're mind, body, and spirit. And the only thing that should anchor you is your body, not anything else. That's what encases your spirit. But if you have anything else on top of that, you're not supposed to have that. Your spirit is supposed to be free. It's supposed to be. So if there's anything that's keeping you from being able to be free in your spirit, you need to figure that out however you can, in order to release yourself from it, so that you can live the kind of life that you're meant to live. So do you want to go ahead and get into the visualization and kind of talk about that?
Yes. All right. So Minister Nicole has opened the doors of the church, and we're gonna move over to in her book. Y'all go out and get I Affirm Today. I have my copy. I Affirm Today.
And
she talks about the visualization exercise.
Because he pulled that out. I was like, he read the book, because that's deep. It's not a major read. It's an easy read. I wrote it in a way that if you have a busy life, there's no excuse for you. I mean, it has some nuggets, but it's not, War and Peace. So you have no excuse as to why you can't get through it and maybe start applying some of the practices. And I made it easy for you.
All right. So everybody out there in Streamland, we Nicole is going to take us through some short visualization exercise. So Nicole, the floor is yours. Do what you need to do and do this exercise.
Well, when it comes to the visualization exercise, one thing that helps us with it is if you already have some type of affirmation that you're working from for that particular day, or whatever, era or season that you're going through in your life. Some people do daily affirmations, some people do weekly, monthly, however it is that you kind of are structuring it for yourself, or just having a general affirmation. And I kind of talk about that more in my book as well. But for today, what was resonating in my heart is, I always use the phrase I affirm today as a sentence starter, is I affirm today that I will have answers to questions, that I will have solutions for problems, and that I will also have closure for things that have gone unresolved. That's been on me because of the path that I've been on, for a while. I wrote the book within a month of me actually launching it. My mom died. Then she died in her sleep, didn't see it coming. We were close. I'm an only child, I was her only child. So that was its own set of things. Then we had COVID, which kind of shuts you in. So I had to be really reflective about my own life, my own path and direction outside of the book and Nicole Decandas and what it is I was trying to do when it came to my business and my career and all that. So that's where I am right now. That's the space I'm in. So that's my affirmation for a minute until I get the things I'm looking for in my life for that. So that's just going to be a prevailing umbrella affirmation. So I'm going to say that again because that may actually bless somebody else. That I affirm today that I will have answers. I will have answers to questions, solutions for problems, and that I will also have closure for things that have gone unresolved. And just kind of think that these things may happen intuitively on the inside, and there may be some external things that happen or for these things to kind of come about. But that's something that you can put out there as an affirmation. Once you kind of put that out there, everything that when we do our process, it needs to be written down, because once you write it down, it makes it a record. It makes it a document. It's recorded. When you just have words up in your head, they're just there. Once you write them down, it makes it real. It's no different than when you sign a contract or a lease or anything like that. It's binding. So when you write your affirmation down, it binds you to your belief in what it is that you want for yourself. So you write that down. So after you write that down, then what you need to do is that you need to do a brain dump. And we're going to practice that right now. And that's very, very easy. What you're going to do is you're going to take a timer, and I can do it on my phone. You're going to time yourself for about 1 minute, and you're going to be very still. Now, sometimes people play music. I've gotten to the point where you have to be able to hear and appreciate silence and feel your own breath and experience your own heartbeat, because it lets you know that you're real, that you're resonating, that you're a person, that you're alive. And I would prefer to do that than the music. Even though in my book, I did suggest that, you can listen to music, because sometimes you have these little ambient sounds that are in your house. But a part of structuring and centering yourself is to be able to sit quiet. And that's something we don't do a lot other than when we're sleeping. Some of us don't even do it then because we're watching television or have some type of music or something going on in our rooms. So I'm going to set the timer for a minute. What you're going to do is just open your mind and just let your mind flow. And then once the minute is up, I'm going to take you to the next step. Do that. And you can shut your eyes for this time, because the timer will let you know to open your eyes. And the timer went off my ear because I actually have a have my headset in. With that said, the timer went off. Now what you have to do is, if you're in your room, you should always have some type of notepad on your nightstand, your dresser, or whatever that's handy. And what you do is you jot down all the thoughts that came to your mind. So it could be words like, I know in my head what I was thinking. So I'm gonna jot those down. And you're gonna do a minute for that. Okay. So just go ahead and time yourself. I'm gonna do the timer again. And some of the words can not be good words. It's just whatever came to your mind during that time. All right. So when I did that, I'm looking at over half my list. A lot of what's on my list isn't positive. So what you do is you mark out all the stuff, that isn't positive. Just mark it out. And the reason being is because when you mark that information out, it puts you in a place of, oh my goodness, this is what's rolling around in my head. We don't fully understand when we're flowing through life and doing our day-to-day tasks, how many negative thoughts are just in there, just battling with the positive thoughts. So I mark all those out and I circle the ones that are positive. And then the next thing I do is, for the next few minutes, I start to visualize what those words will look like in my life. So just to share the positive ones I have career, money, job. Those are the positive ones. Everything else was just not so nice. So what I would do is I'd take a few minutes to close my eyes again and start visualizing, what does that look like for me? And as I'm visualizing it, after I finish visualizing that for the next few minutes, then I start to write out notes and adjectives as to what that looks like for me. So does that mean that I change careers? Does that mean that I take on another revenue stream? What does that look like? And another thing you can do is you can do sketch noting and actually sketch out what it looks like for you. So you do this exercise as often as you need to in order to declutter your mind. And I'm really good about doing this. It's good to do first thing in the morning, but I tell you something, if you want to have a good night's sleep, this is a good thing to do before you go to bed, because what it does is that it preps your mind to be more at rest and at ease about going to sleep, because you don't take all this stuff with you. Could you imagine, most of us, we take our shower, put on our pajamas, and we get into the bed. When you don't clear your mind before you go to bed, it's almost as if you go right from being outside. Let's think about the wintertime, even though it's 1,000 degrees outside. You have on your hat, your gloves, your long johns, your pants, your snow boots, you have all that stuff. Do you get in the bed with all that stuff on? You don't. But psychologically, when you don't unpack everything that's in your head, that's what you're doing. So I want you to, and I want you to kind of visualize, that's what I do every night when I don't unpack my thoughts, when I go to bed with all these stressors. And then what happens is you wake up tired. Sometimes you wake up in a bad mood. Sometimes you wake up and you wake up a little confused, a little foggy, because you took all this stuff with you to sleep and you were not fully rested. And for those of us that live in the sphere of overthinking, that's me. I'm that person at 3 o'clock in the morning googling stuff like, I Google some crazy stuff because someone hit my head like, oh, I wonder how that happened, and I'll Google it. You need to be sleep, but when you overthink because you have not unpacked what's in your head. So I just, that's just something simple that I do. And that's just one exercise that's in my book, but there are other things that I do in order to kind of get my clients to, get themselves in a better headspace, because you cannot create and imagine a life that you want for yourself or for your family when you have all that stuff in your head. Your imagination cannot soar. You cannot be free in your thoughts. You can't believe in the possibilities when you have all this stuff just kind of like rolling around, doing what it wants to do, taking up space, taking up real estate in your brain and in your spirit, because, all that's interconnected. So as you think, so you are. So, if I'm thinking these things, I manifest them in my words and my behaviors and in a variety of ways when I'm interacting with other people. So you have to get all that together on the inside. So that's the visualization activity that I do. That's a power brain stuff.
Man, Nicole, this next time I'll just bring you on. I'm gonna go sit down and take notes somewhere and let you handle the whole show. That's what we're gonna do. That was that was awesome. I love. Thank you for doing that exercise. I think one of the things that we don't do is to practice those type of things. I don't know about anybody else, but the one thing that walked away, you clowned me for coming in the house all my snow gear on and getting into bed, and that's accurate. That's exactly what it feels like, and I could surprisingly see this in the visualization exercise. I could actually see that and be like, this is uncomfortable. This is not how I want to go to bed tonight. And you need to shed all that, and putting that off before you go to sleep is a great way to send that message to it. And I love that exercise. I did write down stuff on there. And again, there's a whole lot of negative rolling around in there. The few positives I don't hang on or should hang on to, could be the difference breaker for a whole lot of stuff, but that just dominates. That's what we were saying before about the piling on and how much stuff we carry with us unnecessarily. One thing I'm just recapping at this point. One thing you said about being free and doing that, there is a sense of risk when it comes to being free. And the risk to being free is I have to listen to the negativity that people are going to dump on me for being free. And therefore I don't go free because I don't want it. And I think there has to be an acceptance to be willing to be ridiculed, and it's not even ridicule. It's a trigger for them. And they don't know how to say anything positive to you. So you don't need that. You know what I'm saying? So you just go do that and accept who you are. It's nothing more challenging to be 6'6" in a black suit with a red tie, going to an interview and someone say, that red suit is that tie is too powerful. You should do a darker color and dim it down. I said, what the hell for? I'm 6'6". Everything I do is big. Every time I walk in the room, they're intimidated. It does not matter to me.
It doesn't matter
to you. It doesn't matter to you, but in a brief moment, I was like, maybe I should get a orange blue tie and calm, easy colors. I don't want to be calm. So, but these are the struggles when people are projecting onto us that we receive, that we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Marion Williamson's poem, Our Greatest Fear, Our Biggest Fear, keeps coming to mind. Keeps coming. Why should I dim my light to make you feel good? Paraphrase.
No.
Why?
And you can't, because what it is that everybody was brought here to be their own light. And does a sun, does the moon tell the sun not to shine? Does the stars in the heavens tell the moon not to illuminate? No. In nature, everything plays a role, a specific role, and they do their role. Only in humanity do we have the ability or the gall to tell other people what they can and can't do. You don't see a tiger walk up to any other animal in their environment and tell them not to be that animal or not to operate that way. They come in, with an innate sense of who they are, or what they are in this case, what they are in the sphere of nature. They know, and they play that role. So if we look at ourselves like that we were created specifically, I was listening to something today, and it says that our brain, the way our brains are structured, each individual person's brain is structured. That brain structure has never been seen, nor will ever be seen again. Now, you could walk around, I could probably see a lot of guys that favor you, Mark. I could probably go through your family line and find people that look just like you. But when it comes to what innately makes you Mark, we would never be able to replicate that. So how is it that I can look at you and say you can't wear that red tie, or tell you that you're too bold and you're too audacious? How can I do that? I can't. I shouldn't have the right to do that because I didn't create you. And based off what you've been created to do and what you've been sent here to do, your calling, your vocation, whatever it is, you're supposed to operate in that. So when people say that you're too much for them. And I'm quick to say I'm not for everybody.
Right.
Everybody's not going. Everyone has a frequency, and that you were saying that we have another writer that's a part of our team, and I would love to get to know and meet her. We need to do something where we can all kind of like get together. And we'll talk about that offline. But needless to say, we all vibrate. We all have different vibrations, and who I am for Nicole Decandas resonates with a certain group of people. I'm not trying to win the world, because I'm not here for the world. I'm here for a certain select group of people that need to and are to hear my message. So if the rest of the people don't get it, they don't receive it, they don't appreciate it, then I'm okay with that, because I'm not here for you. I'm here for the people that need and desire and want me. And that's what I'm perfecting in myself, is to know what it is my gift is, so I can perfect that for the people I've been sent to help. That's it. So if you think, oh, Nicole is a bit much, and oh my gosh, and and Mark in his red tie, and he's just too big, he's just too this, he's just too that, well, God bless you with the love of God and the spirit that Tabitha Brown walks in. And I'm not for you, baby. I'm not for everybody. And I'm okay with that.
Just want it. Right. And that's the part. And that's what again, you had to get used to being okay with it. And you're not for everybody. You weren't created to be for everybody. You're created to be who you were, to do what you've been created to do. And that alone, that's the freeing thought. The freeing thought is that, and you're able to move in those spaces and do that. Nicole, it has been an amazing conversation. I appreciate you coming on. We're going to get off of here. We're both going to catch second quarter of a game. I don't know what's going on.
I appreciate being invited on. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me speak to your audience.
Absolutely. You take care, and we'll see you in the next issue. All right, everybody, there you have it. That was dope. Again, this is what's happening in the magazine. This is what I'm connecting to. This is what I'm bringing to the off the bench mindset, the off the bench movement. You've heard me talk for decades about certain things, about mental toughness, extreme effort. You've heard me talking about getting off the bench, better than yesterday. But sometimes you just need to hear from other folk, and then sometimes I need to hear from other folks. That's why I bring people on to share my platform. When I started this whole magazine, it was about sharing my platform. From the people I trained beginning pre-COVID, the number one thing I said, I want to share my platform. Whatever 4, 5, 9, 12, 125, 3,000 people I got access to, you need access to them too, because they need to hear what you have to say as well. Put it all together for them to synthesize and make their own plan, their own actions to reinforce what they're trying to do. And this is what we're doing in Off the Bench magazine. So I encourage you, if you've not subscribed to the magazine, go to the magazine and line it up. It's offthebenchmagazine.com. on website. If you're on IG, hit the link in any of the bios at Speakerman87 or Off the Bench Magazine, OTB Magazine. Hit the link, subscribe, and get this magazine. These are what's happening out here. We've got motivation coming out weekly, our Woke Wednesdays. Today went out to our subscribers. The special 2-minute drop fire, mic burning nuclear drops by me, because that's what I'm doing. Private content I don't release anywhere else. And then we're now adding in our contributing writers like Nicole, who came in, Brittany came in, dropped some business stuff. These are things we're dropping, adding more value to content. For the measly small $37 you pay for 12 issues, I'm delivering conference style information that you would pay thousands of dollars for. You pay thousands of dollars to hear me give this message, and it's coming to you for $37 a month. $37 one time, $37 one time. Go subscribe today, help get this message out there, and get yourself off the bench with a lot of information. Anyway, that's what's going on here. And as always, I end the broadcast, I will leave you with this. If you can reach your dreams with a step ladder, then they're probably too low. I'm out.